Hello everyone, Katarina here. Welcome to my YouTube channel and blog. In this video, I will be showing you Father's Day card I made for this year. I usually make 3 cards for my dad, my stepdad, and my boyfriend's dad. I started card making about 3 years ago, and this was my first Father's Day card I made. I really like to make masculine cards that have a little bit of a vintage look to them. However, when my dad got this card, he liked it, but he said that there is color missing. So ever since for Father's Day and my dad's birthday, I make more colorful cards. To make this card, the theme was very easy. I used the rainbow colors. I had this idea using a geometric pattern and had this stamp set from Clearly Besotted that has a triangle stamp. And for the technique I had in mind is to stamp with distress ink and add water to create this imperfect splotchy stamping. Not to waste my time over the weekend, I tried to prepare. I went online to check how others did this and found 2 different techniques, which I will be showing you here. The first technique is to stamp with the distress ink and then spray water on it to reactivate it. I found this technique at Jennifer McGuire's channel, but I'm sure other crafters were using it as well. So let's start. I have my distress inks and my watercolor paper ready. Just taped it to a craft board, and as I said, I will be using the triangle from the Geometric Style stamp set by Clearly Besotted. This stamp set is no longer for sale, but there are so many geometric stamps out there, it's easy to find one, and you don't have to use triangles. Any solid stamp will do. If you want to know which exact colors of distress ink I was using, just hop over to my blog. But it doesn't matter which exact colors you are using. The rainbow color palette is pretty much clear. Or you can use also 1 shade of the same color. That will work as well. So for the stamping, I used an acrylic block and only 1 solid stamp. I also had a cloth and piece of scrap paper as well as a paper towel on the side to clean my stamps. And I started stamping from right to left. I started with purple, pink, red, orange, and yellow. The trick here is that this is not a rainbow order in a line. So in the second row, you need to think which color fits the best, not only the color below, but also above. So I stamped purple again, just in different shade, the blue and green, and then on the top I stamped green again. On the second card, I actually changed the greens. I think the yellow-green is better suited below, above the yellow and orange, and the blue-green fits better on the top. After all stamping was done, I used a spray bottle. You can get these at craft stores or drugstore where they sell travel bottles. And spray it carefully onto the card to reactivate the ink and let it to dry. While it is drying, let's try the second technique, where you add the water onto the stamp and then stamp it onto the paper. I follow the same pattern as in the previous card. I also sprayed a little bit of water in the end to reactivate the color even more. I will play a little bit of music now and talk to you in a bit. Personally, I prefer the first card because the colors were more vibrant, and even after adding the water, the original image was preserved. So to finish the card, I will be using the first panel. First, I will be die cutting it using the stitched rectangle from Simon Says Stamp. I will be using the Father's Day sentiment from the All Occasions stamp set from Clearly Besotted. But before that, I wanted to add a little bit of splashes of the distress ink onto the card. So I squished a little bit of ink on this laminated board, added a little bit of water and sprinkled it on the card using a brush. Then I used Mini Misty to stamp the sentiment. I wanted the sentiment to be right next to the triangles and not overlap it. And the sentiment is just too long. I could have cut the stamp, but I really hate doing that. Instead of that, I just carefully inked up the Father's Day part of the sentiment, covering the word happy with a piece of leftover cardstock and stamped twice to make it nice and bold. I used the VersaFine ink in Onyx Black. Since I decided to split the sentiment, I thought the word happy in this case wasn't bold enough. So I fished out a different sentiment with the word happy and used this one instead. But it would not really matter if I used the original sentiment. For the card base, I used heavyweight black cardstock. First I cut it into half to get a 5 paper and then scored it in the middle to create a 6 card. If you are not using the US letter size paper, the scoring boards are not for metric system users. So you have to first measure where the middle fold is with a ruler, and then you can score it. You can also use a paper trimmer. Many of them have the scoring attachment with it. Also, the bone folder is not the best. This one is made of plastic. I heard Teflon bolt folders are way to go. This bolt folder just leaves this shiny residue on the card, and apparently the Teflon bone folder doesn't do it. So that's definitely on my shopping list. Another problem with the metric system are the rectangular dies. They are made for the US A2 cards, so the proportions are going to be different. As you can see, the panel is shorter on the left and right than on top and the bottom of the card. I personally don't mind it, but I would love some companies to do dies for metric system users. Anyway, to finish up the card, I just use a fun foam to rise it a bit and adhere it to the card base and then to the card. So here is the finished card. Actually, it turned up exactly how I imagined. I always like rainbow colors and really love the geometric pattern on it. I hope you like this video as well. Thank you all so much for watching. If you want to see more images of the finished card, just pop over to my website cherry-b.net. Here is the list of supplies. You can also find it in the description down below, as well as over on my blog. On my blog, for most of the products, I will also add the links to the shops where you can buy them. If you did like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe for future videos. You can also follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest, or of course over on my blog. All the links I included in the description down below. Just click on the show more option to see all the details. And I will see you in my next video. Bye!